Well, on this latest episode, we're going to focus on two reviews for everybody. Now, as you know, Ring of Honor normally is broadcast on a Thursday, but for whatever reason, maybe because of Collision, they decided to, of course, move it on a Friday. So basically, we're going to be reviewing everything. We do have, of course, two proving ground matches, one for the ROH Women's World Television title and the ROH World title, and plenty other things as well taking place. And then, of course, we move on with the latest American show by New Japan Pro Wrestling, Resurgence. We have, of course, tons of championship matches taking place. We even had, of course, like a bit of a present versus past type of Bullet Club war or match or something. The Young Bucks team up with the Good Brothers to take on the War Dogs, which is very interesting to watch. So we're going to go from A to Z on this one. And then, as always, we'll be capping up our episode with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are thrown out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK. Anywhere in the world, pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Nike Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or nice comments in the description down below. Now, enough with the yapping. It's time to hit the highway. So let's begin, of course, with Ring of Honor. Okay, Ring of Honor. It opened up with singles action. We have Jay Lethal versus Atlantis Jr. Now, of course, many of you may know Jay Lethal, who he is. Jay Lethal is a ROH legend, if you call him. He's been with the promotion for a long time. He has held every title that, of course, Ring of Honor has to offer. But he faces against Atlantis Jr., second generation wrestler, and a former ROH World Television Champion. So the real question is who will come on top? I mean, Jay Lethal is a fantastic wrestler. We cannot deny that. But we cannot deny Atlantis Jr. not only that he is second generation, but he is stepping up in his own game as any other generational wrestler is. So he was able to pick up the victory when he applied the frog splash, and just like that, uno, dos, tres, se acabó. If you don't know what that means, it means it is over. Next up, we have the Problem, Marina Shafir, taking on Layla Gray. Now, of course, Marina Shafir, for those who know, she's been, well, her dub name, of course, makes it, you know, accurate because she is a problem because she always helps out the Death Riders. But Layla Gray, you probably can guess that she has the work cut out for her because she has never faced anybody like her before. I mean, I give Layla Gray all the credit she needs in order because she stepped up to someone like Marina, but unfortunately, Marina Shafir was able to walk away through win with a submission, which is the mother's milk, and then just like that, Layla Gray had no choice but to tap out. So, Marina Shafir, of course, walked away with the win. Next up, we have the Spanish Announce Project, Angelico and Serpentico taking on Lee Johnson and, of course, Blake Christian. So you probably can guess how this was going to go. I mean, we know that recently Lee Johnson and Blake Christian have teamed up for quite some time, of course, and they cut their way through picking up matches, including using some tactics in order to pick up the win. Of course, we're not going to deny, of course, the chemistry with Spanish Announce Project. They are a very cohesion team. They work together very, very well. But unfortunately, this match ended with, of course, Johnson picking up a victory over Serpentico, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. Now, our our next match is a pure wrestling rules match. Now, for those who don't know, this is not a typical wrestling match. This is a match where you play by the rules. So, now, as you know, the women's division in ROH are stepping up into this game. Now, if you guys never seen a pure wrestling rules match before, if you're new to the channel, or never seen Ring of Honor in general, this is how it works. You're not allowed to use fists on people's faces or in the groin. If you even do it even once, you're giving a warning, because if you do it again, match is thrown out, your opponent wins just like that. But you do get 3 rope breaks. So basically, if you feel like you're in a submission and you need to take the kick out of it, it's more like you're taking a break from that. But once your rope breaks are exceeded, it's over. But if you don't know the rules, if you even try to use the rope before you exceeded all your rope breaks, well, it's fair game, in case anybody asks. But we haven't seen women's wrestling do this type of thing. We know there's certain women that are capable, such as, of course, Deonna Purrazzo, Marina Shafir. And now certain girls are stepping up the game to adapt to this style. And our match right here showcases that. We have Ashley Voss versus Deonna Purrazzo. Now, for all of you know, Deonna Purrazzo, in my opinion, is one of the few women who I would think could definitely win the ROH Women's Pure Wrestling Championship. So she's on the top of the list along with Serena Deeb. So of course I was gonna think that she was gonna win this match, but I knew that, of course, Ashley Voss, according to what Ian Riccaboni said, she is capable of pure wrestling rules on Ashley Voss, but however, she does not have the necessary experience like Deonna Purrazzo. So Deonna Purrazzo was able to pick up the win by applying, of course, a submission move, and just like that, Ashley Voss had no choice but to give up. So the match went to Deonna Purrazzo. Now, while this match was over, someone in the back was observing this pure wrestling's rule match with the women's division. Well, one who's going to participate in it, Queen Aminata. So basically, she, of course, has her sights set on the ROH Women's Pure Wrestling Championship, and that's exactly what to do. So basically, her observance of this match has helped her to gain knowledge and hopefully learn something when she come across Deonna Purrazzo one-on-one in the future. So we'll see how that rolls. Now, speaking of the women's division, we are jumping in a proving ground match for the ROH Women's World Television title. Red Velvet faces against Lanie Luck. Now, Lanie Luck, as you know, she is not in fact part of the roster, but she is one of those wrestlers they bring in. I have to say she did a pretty good job trying to hold her own, not to mention having the crowd behind her back. But unfortunately, she did not pick up the win because Red Velvet applied a straight up your mama's kitchen, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. Now, our next match, we have the big man, Satnam Singh, taking on Lord Cruz. Now, of course, you probably can guess that this match was going to fall in favor with Satnam Singh because he's a big dude. He was able to pick up the win when he applied a choke slam, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, se acabó. Now, our main event, we have another proving ground match. We have the ROH Championship in the spot. Bandito, of course, faces against the base god, Gringo Loco, and I have to say, what a fantastic match. I mean, Gringo Loco has been one of those wrestlers that many fans talk about. If you ever seen him, you know that he throws in everything into it. And him being a high flyer and all that. So basically, he could have picked up a win in this match if that was the case, but no. Bandito was able to pick up the win by not using the 21 plex. I'm sure that is something that Gringo Loco has been keeping an eye on. He applied an infamous move that's been known to be used by Keiji Muto, which is, of course, the Shining Wizard, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, Bandito wins. So, it was a pretty good event. I enjoyed it. Some good matches, I have to say, pretty good. So, I think that's pretty much it right now with Ring of Honor. Let's move on with our last and final review, New Japan Pro Wrestling Resurgence. Okay, New Japan Pro Wrestling Resurgence. Now, this is one of their American shows that they do here, and I think this one took place in Ontario, in case anybody misses. Now, we do open up with, of course, with the buy-in matches. We have CJ Tino versus Alan Breeze. Nothing too special about this match, but these guys have run with each other in the New Japan Academy. But of course, they were mentioning that Tino was the one, CJ was the one who always wins, and that's exactly what he did. He actually was able to counter a move that Alan Breeze was about to apply onto him. Instead, he turned it around, went to a sunset flip, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our next match, which was the last one in the buy-in, we had a surprise visit after 4 years. Bea Priestly, or formerly known as Blair Davenport in WWE, has made her return. Now, many of you may question why. Well, it turned out that her 90-day no-compete clause is finally over. So basically, she made her way there and calling out whoever is willing to step up. And the real question is, who stepped up to take her out? The top gaijin. Well, we had Viva Van who made her presence known, and I thought the match was pretty good. I mean, not to mention seeing B, and I think many people are predicting most likely where she's going to go next. But the match ended with, of course, by Bea Priestly applying Plan B, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, welcome back, Bea Priestly. Now, let's jump in, of course, with the main card of Resurgence. This is a case of master versus student. We have Matt Vandegrift facing off his teacher, master or senpai, Fred Rosser. Now, these guys have been going back and forth, including in, if you ever seen a showcase in the New Japan Academy. So basically, Matt Vandegrift is trying to show that he doesn't need him to, of course, show him how things should be done. But Fred Rosser, being the veteran he is, he has to teach him a lesson. But Fred Rosser was able to walk away with the win when he gave him the chicken wing, and just like that, it was over. He tapped out. However, he maintained a hold just for a little bit, just for good measures, that gave him that lesson that he needs. Now, our next match, this is for the New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team belts. We have the United Empire consisting of TJP and Templario. Now, I know some of you are thinking, hey, J-Rod, isn't he no longer with New Japan? Well, he's not. He's back as a freelancer, but there's been talk recently that TJP might consider go back to WWE. That's the question that has not been answered yet. I don't know if WWE has any interest in him, but it seems like he wants to. So we'll see. But however, they're facing against the West Coast Wrecking Crew, Royce Isaacs and Jarrell Nelson, of course, who I like to dub them as the Big Crybabies. Now, many of you may ask me, why do I dub them that? Because these guys were crying like little bitches because, A, they talk about they were the first tag team in New Japan Strong, but they never actually won the tag belts. They felt like they were being overlooked, and they cry about it. That's the reason. and they had to cheat their way through in order to do so to prove the point that they are the pinnacle of what New Japan Strong is all about. However, they're facing against a team that are totally dominant, and of course, out of nowhere, somehow, some way, TJP was able to overturn it and pin Jarrell Nelson, all thanks to Templario, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, brand new New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team Champions. And I'm sure Jarrell Nelson and Royce Isaacs are going to cry about it in their big diapers in the back. But like I said, we don't know what's going to happen from here now with TJP. We'll just have to wait and see what happens now. Now, our next match, this is the matter of past versus present. We have the Bullet Club War Dogs, Ghetto, Clark Connors, Gabe Kidd, and of course David Finlay taking on the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Doug Gallows. They team up with the Young Bucks, Matt and Nate Jackson. Now, for those who don't know, both the Bucks and the Good Brothers were members of the Bullet Club when they were running through with leaders such as, of course, Finn Balor, AJ Styles, and then of course Kenny Omega. But however, of course, these two teams, they were fantastic. If you notice, the Good Brothers were part of the heavyweight tag team division, while the Young Bucks back in the day were junior heavyweight competitors. That sets it up right there, you know. But the real question is, who will win this match? Now, I think some of you may think, okay, the War Dogs, because these guys, they don't play games, they don't take any BS from anybody. But somehow, some way, the Good Brothers and the Bucks were able to coexist no matter what, in order to prove the point that the past will always be the strongest. But it was, of course, it was, of course, the Good Brothers with the Magic Killer onto Ghetto, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, Bucks and Good Brothers picked up the win. But during the post match, of course, they had to give a little too sweet, to appreciate the past and present. So we'll see but things, of course, I'm sure the War Dogs were not having it, but yeah. Now, our next match is for the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship. Now, this is the singles championship, the championship. Drilla Maloney versus Tomohiro Ishii. Now, it's not the first time that these two has come across. Drilla Maloney has faced Tomohiro Ishii before, and he was the one who came on top. Now, we have seen recently Drilla Maloney has now stepping into the threshold into the heavyweight competition type. Now, we don't know if he's going to make the crossover, which is not uncommon, but the openweight title kind of tells it right there, because we have seen competitors in the junior heavyweight division that actually fight like actual heavyweights. And Joe Maloney is one of those guys we definitely have to pay attention, because he's been stepping up. But man, he put everything he had in order to take out Tomohiro Ishii to become the new champion. But unfortunately, you cannot put down the Stone Pitbull. He was able to walk away with the win when he put him in the Brainbuster, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it's over. Now, our next match is the Never Openweight Championship. El Phantasmo faces against Konosuke Takeshita. Now, this is not the first time these two guys have come across each other. They have faced each other back in the G1 Climax, and just recently for the New Japan World Television title, and now it's the Never Openweight Championship on the line. I have to say, the match was incredible. It was great. But the one thing that was so messed up, Phantasmo could have won this match if it wasn't for that idiot Rocky Romero pulling the ref, and then of course El Phantasmo getting a bit of measure revenge on him and then powerbombing him through the damn table, leaving him like a dead duck. But however, Konosuke Takeshita was able to recover, take out El Phantasmo, and then applying, of course, the Raging Fire, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, Konosuke Takeshita retained the championship. Now, our next match, this is for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. We have former champion Zack Sabre Jr. facing against the man who defeated him for the championship. We're talking about Hiroki Goto. Now, of course, these two guys faced off each other many times. Hiroki Goto was the one who defeated Zack Sabre Jr. But the real question I think many of you may ask, does lightning strike twice? Well, I would say it could have happened either way. I mean, of course, Zack Sabre Jr. is determined to win that championship back. by any means necessary. I'm not talking about cheating or anything, but trying to wear out Hiroki Goto. But that did not work because apparently this match ended in a double pinfall draw after 17 minutes and 28 seconds. And just like that, no one wins, no one loses. So Hiroki Goto actually retained the championship, and just like that, it was completely over. So, go figures. Now, our main event, this is for the New Japan Strong Women's Championship match. Azumi versus Mina Shirakawa versus Mercedes Moné. Now, if you guys remember the last American show that New Japan put out, there was supposed to be a number one contenders match, but unfortunately the match ended in a draw. So Rocky Romero, who stepped in, said that they're going to have this as a three-way. So that's the real question. Now, Mercedes Moné, as you know, were able to survive every match that was thrown at her to retain the championship. Now, I think some of you may question, does Mina Shirakawa have the chance? I would say many people were probably, in my opinion, were banking their money on Mina. Me, I wasn't banking. I was a bit more biased on this one, but I wasn't too sure exactly. There was, of course, signs of desperation by Mercedes Moné not to lose the belt, but unfortunately things did not go well because you know the rule: the champion does not technically needs to be pinned to lose the championship. It could be anyone. Well, Azumi took that advantage by pinning Mina with the Azumi Sushi, and just like that, it was over. 1, 2, 3. Azumi is our brand new New Japan Strong Women's Champion. Now, I think many people may question, what does this mean for Mercedes Moné? I mean, I have talked to many of my friends. There is maybe speculation that she could win, of course, the upcoming Owen Hart tournament and probably win the AEW Women's Championship. That is something that me and several of my friends in my inner circle, we talked about it. I think there's been maybe that could be the sign. Maybe she has to give up the belt in order to proceed at. But we will see about that. That's an AEW topic, but I'm just putting it out there for everybody in case you ask yourselves that questions. But we will see what happens here on out with of course with Mercedes Moné from here on out. So right now we are officially done with New Japan. Let's move on with our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. So let's begin, of course, as always, with upcoming events with the promotions. Now, as you know, on May 17th, we got, of course, NWA with the Crockett Cup. Apparently, they announced for a championship match. The NWA National Heavyweight Championship will be on the line. Men's defends his championship against Max the Impaler, which is going to be a good one. Now, for those who know this already, as you know, Stardom Talent and members of the Cosmic Angels, Saory and Natsu has finally completed the card for their upcoming 10th anniversary that will take place on the 31st of May. However, apparently the real question is, what are those two going to do? Are they going to wrestle? The answer to the question is yes. Well, apparently they just uploaded a brand new video where they actually go visit, make a pit stop in Sendai. And everybody knows what's in Sendai Girls. Well, they picked their opponents to be none other than Mika Iwata, who of course had some run-ins with Sayaka in the past, and of course Big Cash herself, Chihiro Hashimoto. So basically, they were inviting them, saying that they are putting them in the main event with them in their 10th anniversary show. At first, Mika Iwata was not happy seeing the camera crew, but of course, Chihiro, being the bigger person, trying to calm her down to tell her, look, let's just listen to what they have to say. So of course they told them that. So they accepted the thing, but of course Mika Iwata, as you know, let's just say she's a bit tempered. Now, as for the card itself, this is what we have now. As I said before, we do have the main event. Sayu Anu and Natsupoi will be teaming up to take on Chihiro Hashimoto and Mika Iwata. It's more like Stardom versus Sendai Girls. Then we have the Tenku Rumble taking place. Aya Sakura versus Saory, Sayaka Kurara versus Mayumi Ozaki, Yuna Mizumori versus Saki, Yumiko Hota and a mystery partner facing off against Kaoru Itu, uh, teaming up with a mystery partner as well. So that's going to be interesting. And then we have the match with Ina Aiba teaming up with Maika Ozaki, taking on Tai Hamna and Yuna Manaze. Now, however, in this match, in case anybody asks, this one will feature, of course, what's her name? Now Kakuta, who eventually, as you know, retired. I think was it last year, and now she was invited to be referee in this particular match, the match between Aiba, Ozaki, Hamna, and Manaze. So that's going to be good. And then, of course, they have the At-Risk Girls Actress Time event, which, of course, they will play the song Love Riddle, which is a song that many of you, if you're At-Risk Girls fans or seen them in general, you know what I'm talking about. So that's pretty much what's taking place. Moving on, part, of course, of our upcoming events. Well, as you know, the collaboration between Prestige Wrestling, West Coast Pro, and Deadlock Pro Wrestling has announced for their upcoming event on June 1st, United. The current West Coast Pro champion, Kevin Blackwood, will be participating as well. Of course, we have GCW with the Atlantic Show, Cage of Survival 4. That will take place on the 8th of June at Atlantic City. 4 names have been announced. We have Masha Slamovich, Mickey Knuckles, we have Little Sickos, who will be making his debut, and also debuting, many of you know him as well, part of AEW, Bear Bronson. So it's great to hear from him. Can't wait to see what he's going to do. So that's pretty much what we have for our upcoming events. Now let's talk about some developments. Let me get my notes ready from this one. Here we go. Okay. As you all know, Tetsuya Naito has recently left New Japan this recently on May 4th. Now, I think many people probably question, is he going to AEW? Well, Tetsuya Naito has already said himself and set the record straight, AEW has not contacted him. We don't know if that's what he's planning to do, but we'll just have to wait and see. President Okada from Stardom has revealed that, of course, that FWC, Kokomonozuki are seeking to expand overseas, basically like spread the word out about Stardom, get more of international fans to jump into the Stardom bandwagon, which is cool. Now, of course, President Okada had to clarify, no, they are not leaving Stardom. They're just doing this because they want to bring in more fan base into the Stardom bandwagon. So that was the case what they were doing. Now, many of you know this. There were some recent releases involving with, of course, NXT talent, and among them is wrestlers like Javier Bernal, Mark Coffey, and Joe Coffey. Now, apparently, this is what it was revealed. Apparently, as you know, with these releases, this coming Wednesday, there's going to be the latest WWE Evolve taking place. These matches involving, of course, Javier Bernal and Mark Coffey and Joe Coffey, well, apparently these will be the final matches involving them in Evolve. So those matches will take place this Wednesday. So if you guys are planning to go see it on Tubi, check it out. I'm definitely gonna watch it. It's gonna be a little weird that now we know that they're gone, but they're gonna show this anyway, which is kind of interesting. Now, as you know about Bea Priestly, we talked about her. She opened up about talking about returning to AEW. Now, for those who don't know, before going to AEW, AEW, she was in Stardom, but there was been talks that WWE had an interest in her, and now she is. But she ended up in AEW. Apparently, if you guys never seen the early days of AEW, it was Brandy Rhodes who actually gave her the opportunity. So most likely she'll do it. But this is what she said: "I'm definitely open having conversations, but I do also want a little bit of time just to do my own thing because I have come out of a contract. So I'm kind of just want to be able to make things that I want to do and do it because I'm looking forward to it or enjoy it." So basically she's going to work on herself, maybe try to improve on her wrestling craft, which is not a problem, but hopefully she is allowed to return, which is something definitely many people would like to see. Now, Shotzi Blackheart talked about, of course, a very interesting. This was happened on Busted Radio. According to what she said, as you know, she's been making appearances in NXT. She says she wanted to help Tatum Paxley and Gigi Dolan, but hopefully, of course, all three of them go to the main roster together. But of course, the top boss says no. And then, of course, there was supposed to be like some sort of angle with Chelsea Green, but it got nixed. So maybe that's the reason. We don't know. So we'll see. Now, many of you may know that this coming Sunday, Sayaka Kurara will be facing against Sayaka, Sayaka Mitani for the red belt. She actually talked about she has not come into terms with the absence of Tam Nakano, who was forced to retire. This is what she had to say. We had a Kyushu tour straight after Yokohama Arena show. So it still doesn't really sink in that Tamu-san has retired, but Tamu-san was always there for me. As my second before the match, he would say to me, Kurara, it's going to be okay. So it's really feel sense of loss now that she's gone. I'm not going into the match feeling like I can't do it because Tam-san isn't there. I don't feel like I'm carrying Tam's weight on my shoulders either. But from now on, I will create a future of stardom that Tam-san protected, and I'm motivated by the thought of showing Tam-san something that she can be proud of. So basically, she's not over the fact that Tam was gone, but she knows exactly what Tam would say to her. Basically, she does not want to fail her despite the fact that she's not involved. However, of course, many people have been criticizing her about her attempts for the red belt, and this is what she said. People say that my challenge for the belt will lower its value, but I will put it on the match that will defy such voices. If I can win the top title of the promotion at this point in my career, I think it will show people that pro wrestling is full of dreams. So I want to embody stardom dream because become someone who can give hope to many people. So basically, it's more like she is believing that if she can do this, then maybe there's a possibility to tell people chase for your dreams. To me, I feel that she's doing the same thing what Tam Nakano has done. She has fought. Tam has fought through hell to achieve her dreams. Of course, winning the white belt, and the red belt. But the one thing that was sad that we will never get the chance to see is Tam Nakano winning the IWGP Women's Championship, which sucks, of course. But yes, so that's pretty much what Kurara said. What else? Now, for many of you that may know this or not, recently Tony Schiavone has revealed that, of course, as you know, he's been working with AEW since the beginning. However, Tony Schiavone's son Matt has been working with the promotion as well. So basically, according to Sean Ross Sapp, it turns out that his son just left the promotion and decided to proceed other opportunities. So I mean, it's interesting, but we just don't know exactly what was the extent of his position in AW or what was the main reasons of why he chose to leave. So that is still unclear right there. What else? Oh, yes. As you probably know, AW will be making their appearance in Arena Mexico real soon in June. However, this is what Wrestling Observer reported about something very interesting, and this one involves Bandito. Uh, Bandito being allowed, it's Bandito being allowed, of course, to wrestle in CML, according to here, that he's been on the list of people that wouldn't be allowed to work Arena Mexico due to largely his affiliation. Uh, but the game has changed, and CML let him know that they wanted him to participate that show as that week. So basically, as you know, CML is not too keen on having wrestlers who jump ship to be with AAA. Remember, they have a different type of way of being who they are. However, he's not the only one that many people were saying. They even talked about Beast Mortals, and this is what they said as well. While it's not official, the belief is that Mortals likely will be able to as well, when in the past that would not have been the case. So basically, there's been talk. So if CML are discussing whether to have him there or not, that's yet to be seen. But if they do bring him out, that's great to see that. Uh, And finally, as you know, Wrestling Observer has been recently been talking about Dakota Kai. This is what they were able to report here. One person in WWE said that Dakota Kai is still had use of micro level on the main roster, but was never going to be used as a top tier with the likes of Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, Jade Cargill, or others. They see as the top wrestling stars they see long term. Well, that's kind of suck, and of course, that's always been their case. It was noted that she could have worked with Becky Lynch or Liv Morgan, who are also been top players, but it would be only to be a short-term thing. Aside from that, they saw her future as just putting her over the likes of Roxanne, Julia, who are next the ones with the idea to push to stardom. The the thought is that the long-term salary that we're paying her was not worth to have her lose to people on that way up. So basically, they don't consider her as someone at the top. This is almost similar to, of course, Mercedes Moné, who at the time was known as Sasha Banks. Many of you who remember, WWE never did consider her that she will ever be at the top, that no one will cheer her for her, that sort of thing. Well, look at what she's been doing now in AEW. But of course, there's been talk about the possibility of returning to being signed with AEW. But for those who don't know, back in 2022, when Dakota Kai was released back then, she was in talks with them. But of course, WWE brought her back. So Dave Meltzer said he's not sure about what's going to happen from there. But we'll just have to wait and see. But as of right now, let's just wait. So right now, at this moment, let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Well, if you guys notice in the background, there's that light right behind me. It's already in the morning. I kind of already been watching New Japan Resurgence, and once it was over, I fell asleep. I had to do this. So now it's time to edit it and upload this for all of you. So I was thankful that I got to do this. Now, for the next episode, you probably ask yourself, what's next? Well, as you probably know, there's a time difference from here in Japan. Well, New Japan has begun the annual round robin tournament, the best of the Super Juniors. So that's going to be, of course, a priority. I haven't decided yet. I'm behind on Stardom, Muddy Gold, and a few other promotions that I felt like I'm way behind. But I'm going to try to do the best I can, maybe this weekend to catch up, but we will see. So as of right now, wish me luck. So until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.